Hola, buenas tardes. Good evening. Welcome to En Casa con la Plaza Dan Guerrero Happy Hour. My name is Abelardo de la Peña Jr. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications at La Plaza de Cultura y Artes in downtown LA. This is En Casa con la Plaza. If you're on Zoom, welcome. You could use the chat feature there to ask questions, make comments, let us know who you are, where you're viewing from. You could use the Q&A feature as well to ask the questions. We'll be taking them after the conversation. If you're on Facebook, welcome as well. Use the comment section there to ask questions, make comments as well. Thanks to our sponsors, Kaiser Permanente, Union Pacific Foundation. Before we get started, a little bit of update what's going on at La Plaza. This weekend is a little quiet. We'll be taking off. We'll be open, of course, on Friday and Saturday, our usual time from 12 to 5 p.m. On Sunday, we will be closing observation of Juneteenth, an LA County holiday. If you missed Margaret Garcia's exhibition, we apologize for that, but we closed the show last Sunday, and now we're installing for our brand new show coming up and opening on August 11th, 18th and Grand, the Olympic Auditorium. More news on that incredible exhibition, which will be on 2 floors at La Plaza de Cultura y Artes, again, starting in August, with an opening celebration on August the 20th, a Sunday. So look forward to that. But as usual, we do have our permanent exhibitions open. LA starts here on the first floor, Calle Principal, on the second floor, and at La Plaza Cocina, Recetario para las Memorias, an incredible exhibition, which photographs by an incredible photographer out of Mexico. So we're open there Saturday from 12 to 5, as well as, like I mentioned, La Plaza de Cultura y Artes. So enough of that, but you could always catch up on what we're doing at La Plaza, our events, our exhibitions, and so on our website at lapca.org, and on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages at La Plaza LA. Y con eso, let's welcome our host of the Dan Guerrero Happy Hour, Mr. Dan Guerrero. Please join us, Dan.
Here I am, still here after all these years. How are you?
I'm doing well, Dan. Good to see you. How you been?
I've been like a crazy man, and my friends are always. You always say that, but it just, I don't know what it is. It must be something in the water where I live, bitter, because usually at this stage of one's life you kind of quiet down, but I'm revving up like the Energizer Bunny. I don't know, so we'll see. I'm grateful for it. Believe me, I'm grateful for it. So
and we're grateful for it as well, Dan. Looking forward to our next fiscal year. We wrote you into the budget, and so we're going to keep going for at least another year.
Okay, good. So I don't have to get the paper route yet. Do they still do paper route? I don't do them anymore.
Well, speaking of paper routes, tell us about your upcoming guest for the next.
Yes. Well, first of all, we have a great guest tonight. I'm very excited about. Actually, 2 guests, very important ladies. Pero our next happy hour, which is June 29th, we have LA Times columnist Gustavo Arellano. I've been a fan of his since he I remember Orange County Weekly. He used to do that column, Ask a Mexican. And now he's a columnist for the LA Times. And he's a fantastic guy with a really interesting background. And we might get into the little bit of the controversy because he wrote a column about Flamin' Hot, which has received a lot of attention. So we might get into that. You know, I thought it was a very, very brave of him. I'm sure he knew bloody well it was gonna, but you know what? He talks about writing the truth, and that was his truth. And so I have to say he has that right. I'm looking forward to that.
Yes.
But for now,
yes.
Did you want to say something?
Oh, sin plumas en la lengua.
Okay. So you go have a little, no, you can't have a rest because you have photos to bring up. So I'll see you in a minute, and that's all I have to say.
Have fun, Dan.
Okay, mijo. So tonight's guest, well, you already know who it is because we do a lot of publicity, but a multidisciplinary artist with a very long and distinguished career, dating back to an exhibition at La Plaza de la Raza in Lincoln Heights, place we all love, And the exhibition was titled, I don't want to get this screwed up, Nuevo Chicano Los Angeles Art Exhibition at La Plaza de la Raza, and the year was 1988. And she currently has a major exhibition at the Museum of Latin American Art in Long Beach, which is one of the most important museums in the nation. And it's an in-depth, really the most in-depth, it's not a retrospective, I guess it is, of her work in her career. So it's very important. And it's been getting raves both from viewers and, very important, from art critics. So we're going to talk about that and a lot more. So zoom in, Yolanda Gonzalez. Oh, Yolanda, woo! There you go. Ay, mija, you're better with a paintbrush than you are with a computer, huh?
Absolutely, Dan. Absolutely. Thank you for having me tonight for your happy hour. It's quite the honor.
Oh, the honor is ours. I'm so happy. And what a marvelous painting I see in the back there. Isn't that interesting?
Well, it's actually a gentleman that I had promised a birthday portrait for a few years ago. And finally he came and posed for me. So it's a beautiful essence, the essence of Dan Guerrero.
It's beautiful. And it's still wet. We just did it a few days ago. And I love it. And it was quite an honor to have a portrait done by Yolanda Gonzalez is pretty major. So I'm very grateful and I would say humble, but I don't like to be humble. I think it's a wasted thing. Don't you?
Absolutely.
Now let's toast you. Let's get right into the Long Beach exhibition. My God, I toast you with that. Thank you for being here. And we toast the wonderful, wonderful exhibition. Okay. The exhibition is titled, it's actually a beautiful title, Metamorphosis, the Evolution of Visions and Dreams. So it must be, I'm thinking it must be overwhelming for you as the artist to see your evolution, right? I mean, because you go through the years working and working and creating and working, and then you walk into an exhibition like this one, and you're seeing your whole life and your evolution. That must be quite something. Tell us how that feels. It's got to be overwhelming.
Absolutely. It was overwhelming. It was magnificent. And it was such a beautiful narrative of my life, and all hanging all at once and exhibited the Metamorphosis series, the Black and White series. It was the first time in 30 years that it was ever, I gave permission to show it in its entirety. So it was quite historic.
Well, it's over 4 decades, right? Paintings and sculptures and print block. I mean, and knowing that Museum of Latin American Art, which is one of the most important museums, I believe, especially since the leadership of Lourdes Ramos, who's been there already 6 years. I'm shocked. It seems I met her when she first arrived in LA. And she's just been amazing. And I'm thinking, since we're talking about the exhibition, we have her here waiting in the wings. So it is my great privilege to introduce, I guess is Doctora, do I say PhD? Lourdes Ramos. Hi, how are you?
I'm friend.
I'm so happy you're here. Thank you so much. And I know that you have a very tight schedule. So we're gonna move this along. But you know Yolanda. Yolanda, this is Lourdes.
Mucho gusto, Lourdes.
Yeah. I would like to just ask very simply, Lourdes, how this came about, how the exhibition came about, and why you felt it was important to do, and how that all happened.
Well, because extraordinary people have to be honored with wonderful things, and Yolanda is one of those. But before we go there, I have to clarify something, Dan. It's not the water that you drink, my friend.
What is it?
It's because you are a river.
Oh.
You are a river, my love. You are an extraordinary human being.
Oh, that's so
So,
beautiful.
thank you. It's an honor to be with two of the most marvelous people that I met here in the wonderful California. It's a real honor. So let's go back to the question. So when we talk about an artist, we don't talk about just somebody that paints so well, or somebody that have great ideas, or somebody that is a creative person. We talk about something more else. We talk about extraordinary human being, a very, very, very challenging woman with a very clear definition and very strong and assertive image of himself. And that's Yolanda. Is an artist and a woman that, for the beginning, I perceive and I see very clearly that she is that and more. And she certainly is a woman that is not feel afraid about challenge. She is not the quiet of artists that have a recipe and are moving on with the same and stick there because of the market tendencies or anything like that. She is a really, really talented, creative, and extremely sensitive woman. And she is out of the box in many different ways. So we have to honor that, especially becoming from a woman of our generation, because we are almost contemporarily. That was that easy, you know. So from the beginning, I feel deep admiration of Yolanda, and we really, at MOLA, we really want to open the space to the Latino and Chicanos community, and that Yolanda have to be part of that. From the beginning, we talk, and curiously, she think when I asked to Yolanda to come over to talk, she was in the impression, no, Yolanda, that I call you for giving some workshop or class at MOLA. So take me by surprise.
Were you absolutely shocked? Were you shocked, Yolanda?
Well, yes. And firstly, I'd like to thank Lourdes. Lourdes, you're a trailblazer, and I really respect you quite a bit, and I honor you, and I thank you for this beautiful exhibition that you hosted. It's very, very much appreciated, and it's quite an honor. So thank you. It's very important.
Thank you. Thank you for your appreciation, but thank you also to Gabriela Urtiaga, who was the curator, and the team of MOLA. We are here for Yolanda. We are here for our community. That's why we are here, and that's the intention and the mission of MOLA. So and then Yolanda never stopped of surprise, because get what? The night of the opening, this lady tocaba las congas.
Oh, Yolanda,
Oh
you
my
were playing the
God,
conga?
she is an amazing player. I mean,
she's
what
a
she does not.
disciplinary artist, and just like I said,
What she does not.
how much time from the night or the day when you said, we need to do an in-depth exhibition with her, and then the meeting, how long ago was that before it happened and it opened? How much time is involved?
Yeah, I think we worked like for 2.5 years.
Wow.
And I mean, here we have a real painter. Yolanda is a full colorful painter, a real painter. And then three-dimensional also. You don't have that kind of complexity in an artist. Then now I also discovered that she is a musician. She dressed extraordinarily well. Very, 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 I mean, the attire is always there. But, that does require, she's a 360 artist, a very intellectual person also, with a very deep imaginarium and high values. And it's something that I'm personally taking high consideration, and a good friend.
Not, yes. Now, when you are planning an exhibition like this, you sit with your curators and to come up with a narrative. Is the artist involved at all, or is this just you're doing it? You come up with a title. How does all that work?
This is a teamwork between the curator. Predominantly, once the exhibition in MOLA, the process is obviously we see the proposal, or we submit a proposal to the exhibition committee, to the curatorial department, and then from there go to the board, and the board approve the exhibition. And it's a team, it's a team work. I mean, predominantly at the beginning between the curator and the artist, they have a very deep and long conversations to put together the conceptualization and everything that made this exhibition the jewelry that is today. And then once they have the curatorial concept, then come the design of the show, the selections of the pieces and of the artwork, and all the do's and don'ts in this kind of shows, the professional shows. Obviously, every show in MOLA is customized. And in the case of Yolanda, was very challenged because it's a mid-career show with all the different time frames and travels, creative resolution of the artist during his stay in different countries around the world. So was a very challenging show to put together in a way that have the flow that
Sure.
the show have in these days.
Well, you're showing her growth, her evolution, as you say, and I would imagine that she must have said, "Oh, I do have these pieces from," or that you must have seen artwork that you didn't even know exist. How could you, right? And Yolanda,
Yeah.
were you saying things like, "Oh, you know, there are these prints I really would like to work in"? How involved were you? How bossy were you?
Well, first of all, like Lourdes said, Gabriela and Allison and Soliman, it's a full team effort. But I create the art, and just like I create the art, Gabriela is the curator. And so she came one day to my studio. We had some assistants here, and she brought some assistants from the museum. And she looked at the works, and she said, "This one, this one, this one, this one, this one." And then she said, "You know, this one, no, this one, yes." And then I have stacks of work from the pandemic. And so my assistants were holding up 1, 2. They were just like, sheets, yes, no, yes, no, yes. No. And so those are the pieces that you see on the walls at the museum.
Wow.
The fact that she did the Metamorphosis series, which is monochromatic, the black and white, and then the color room, for me is complete genius. It's she painted the walls in such a manner that it complements the work, and it's an absolutely exquisite exhibition.
I mean, being a curator, they're an artist too. They're very much an artist, right? My goodness, as much as yeah. Go ahead, Yolanda.
No, so I stayed in my lane. I stayed in my lane, and I let Mola, you know, create the space, create what they needed. We had some wonderful portraits created by Juan Escobedo, as well as Patricia de la Rosa, 2 great photographers that I know.
Yes.
So
yes.
it was this a really wonderful, it's been a wonderful experience. And I'm very honored, very honored.
And you're thrilled, right, Lloyd? You're thrilled with how it came out and the reaction from audiences, viewers, and in the press.
Yeah, it's no doubt. Every people that come to that exhibition is a wow effect. I mean, they spend sometimes that I'm impressed about that, because usually it's not like that. Sometimes an hour in the show.
Yeah.
Reading
And I know
text, look
first
up
of all,
over. Mhm.
It's important we say that the show is open till July 30th, so you still have time to get out there. It's a fantastic museum, and don't get me started on the gift shop. I love that gift shop. It is fantastic. But July 30th, but once the exhibition is down and the work goes back to Yolanda, a piece is staying, right? Because you've purchased one of her pieces, Sueño de la Pintura. We have a photograph of it, Abelardo.
Yes, we try to acquire an artwork of every master, especially in the last 5 years. We acquired most of the Chicano artists, especially women's. So this is one of the marvelous pieces that we acquired from Yolanda, and that's part of our priority, not just show the Chicano artists or Latino artists, but also acquire artwork from the masters. And Yolanda is already in, Judy Vaca is already in, Patsy Valdez, on and on and on. So that's I have to be I have to say that I feel proud about that, because that was part of the strategic plan for the first 5 years, and we accomplished that strategic plan. We have Fran Romero, we have, I mean, Beto de la Rosa, I mean, all of them.
But you have put your stamp, because we met when you first arrived here, and you've been there 6 years now, but you have it's your vision, and you did open up that particular door, which was very important, and you have put your stamp on it and your vision. And we hope that you are proud of what you've done, you know, for the art community and for everyone, not just the art community, but in your tenure there. So we would like to salute you. And I toast you. I toast
Oh,
you.
thank you. Thank you.
Hello to this.
Oh, the poor little thing, paper cloud. Okay, that's all right. I know you have to leave, Mija, so I thank you so much. Yolanda, do you have a last thing to say to our friend here?
Gracias, Lucas. Lo agradezco mucho. Thank you.
Gracias a ustedes, mis amores. Se les quiere de gratis.
Nos vemos, and
Bendiciones.
you'll come back and you do a full hour talking about the museum and what's coming up, and there's some big
Yeah.
good changes there, okay?
Yes, really.
All right.
Bye-bye. Take care. Bye-bye.
Cariños.
Love
Bye-bye.
you.
I love her. So are you feeling, you must be just on top of the world right now, huh?
Yes, Dan, I'm very excited. I'm very inspired. I started creating a new series of sueños on paper, and that actually is right now at the Bermudas Project till Saturday. And what that did is it allowed me to really open up even more the floodgates, so to speak, of creativity. And I'm working on commissions, and I'm working on new pieces. And so the creative process for me has been rekindled. So very, very excited about it. Very inspired.
That's wonderful, because it's true. As I say, you're just working and working and working and doing it. But then when you see something like that, I don't mean that you get a big head, but it has to make a difference how you perceive yourself, maybe. And I would imagine it would inspire you to, although you've always gone in any direction that you wanted to follow, I would imagine you would have inspired yourself, as it were. I know it sounds weird, but I would think so.
It absolutely did. It did inspire me because, to walk into the museum and see people standing and children even appreciating my work. And then I'll walk up to them to talk, and they get very excited. They say, that's the artist. And I was telling somebody the other day, I'm just a woman who likes to paint is essentially who I am. I like to create. And for me, it's an honor and a responsibility to my heritage, to my ancestors. And I take on that responsibility. I take it very seriously and with a lot of integrity. And I'm very honored.
We're going to get to your ancestry, which is quite fascinating. But before we do that, I want to back up a little bit to self-help graphics, which of course is a legendary art space. In the early 80s is when you were there, and that's where you first began to develop your style of the bright colors and when you were experimenting with printmaking. Take us back to self-help when you were there and Patsy Valdez was there and Eloy Torres. I know they're both close friends and you all mentor each other. Take us back to that time when you were discovering yourself, really. You were discovering yourself, creating yourself.
Absolutely, Dan. You know, I was attending the Pasadena Art Center, and Peter Liashkov, who was my professor then, who was actually creating a portrait of me right to, you know, now in this time. And I was talking to, I did hair at the time, and I was talking to Arturo Yurista, you know, and, you know, he's the way he speaks, hey, Yoli, you know, why don't you come to self-help graphics? And I went over, it was great. I went over and I found my family. It was beautiful. I took a life drawing class with Eloy Torres, and I took a painting class with Patsy Valdez, and Leo Limon was there, Michael Amestro was there, and it was Irena. I took a watercolor class with Irena Cervantes, and they really taught me about the Chicano culture and about the Chicano movement. And so for me, that was a tremendous introduction to self-help graphics, as well as Plaza de la Raza. Around the same time, I was introduced to Plaza de la Raza.
You bring up an important point there. We have a photo of you during that time where you're working. No, that's not it. Oh, I know what happened. It's okay. Yeah.
We're supposed to talk about the printmaking?
Well, I was going to, but okay, let's do it. There. We'll get back to that. We'll get back to that. But this is self-help. That was not Abelardo's fault. We skipped a photo there because I missed a segment. But tell us about this, because that's really when you bring up an important thing, because not only were you growing as an artist and establishing who you were and what you wanted to do, but as you said a moment ago, that experience, you learned how important it was to be a Chicana artist and to identify yourself as a Chicana artist, because the movement was still, new, really. So tell us why was that important to be a Chicana artist and it wasn't just necessarily an artist?
When I was at Pasadena Art Center, Peter Yashkov kept saying, Gonzalez, what's with the primary colors? Why are you using these primary colors? And I didn't know, Dan. I just knew that he kept giving me the European palette to paint. And I kept painting in the yellows and the blues and the greens. And actually, that's one of my older pieces right there.
Oh, wow.
So you could see the colors, how they changed through the years. And so when I went to self-help graphics, I saw the colors that they use, and I understood that those colors are run through our blood. It's who we are.
It's in your DNA, not only from your family that we'll talk about, but it is you're attracted to colors, of course. We have a photo here from your first exhibition at the Galeria Otra Vez. Do we have that, Abelardo? No, we're back to Japan. We're going to do Japan before this is a very good.
Look at that young lady. I think I was 25 years old, and that was a lovely, and actually the painting that you see on the right, I still have that. I kept that in my collection, and it's a beautiful piece. But I was very.
You were a baby.
That was my first exhibition at self-help graphics.
Right, and that was in 1989. In 1989, but you yourself were already a piece of art because you really look at you because the sense of style and a look, and it may have changed through the years, but you were already like out there. Where does all that come from? The hair, the makeup, the jewels, the making a statement, which is part of your art. Where does that come from? Same place?
Yeah, Dan. My dad used to ask the same question, God rest his soul. He always wondered, like, ¿por qué no eres como tus hermanas? Why aren't you like your sisters? And I would tell him, you created me. Why don't you tell me, what, how you created me different than but I'm the artist. I'm an artist. And my other sisters have creative, they also are creative and they create watercolors. And one of my sisters is a photographer. And but I'm Aquarius. We want. Yeah.
So you're blaming it on your sign. Okay.
Everything has to be fuzzy and fabulous. That's just
right. I couldn't agree more. I even wore a little bling for you today because I knew you'd be fluffed up. And speaking thereof, let's talk about a dress you did for our mutual friend Martha Gonzalez Quetzal. We have that, Abelardo, for the Grammys, which turned out to be a lucky dress for her.
Well, my friend Rebecca Moreno is a designer, and she designed that dress. And Martita, I just love them. They're absolutely brilliant. Asked me if I would paint on the dress, and I painted on the dress, and it was a lovely experience. And I knew she was going to get the Grammy because it was on my birthday, February 10th. I said, that's it. She's got the dress. It's my birthday. She got the Grammy. And I was just so proud. I'm so proud of all of our family, of all of our friends, musicians, the artists, the poets, the writers. We all love each other. We all support each other. If we have differences, we heal them, we mend them, we continue, because our movement is very strong, very united. That of a trenza. We are bonded. Yes.
It's absolutely true. Especially those of us that have been around, for a while here, and we've been, let's toast us. We've been through the trenches. We've seen the wonderful changes. We see how far there is to go, but we've all been there for each other, and it is a very strong community, be it the theater community, with the art community, with the musicians. We all kind of know each other and support each other. I don't like LA, but I do like that. I like that bond with our family. Yeah, I don't. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Mayor Bass, but I never liked LA. And I grew up here, but you can't beat what we have here, I don't think.
What was it? Because I've been all over the world, right?
Yes.
Russia, Japan, Scotland, Spain, Italy, France,
Japan.
Yes.
We'll get back there. Go ahead.
But I've never been to New York. So
Stop it.
How gauche.
You mean to this moment you've never been to New York? Wow. Is that on purpose?
No, it just hasn't worked that way. So Dad, will you take me to New York, dear?
Yeah, the two of us there. Come on.
But you have to wear your fuzzies.
I will. I got a few.
I'll lend you one of mine.
I don't mind. I'm ready to explore life. What the hell? But let's talk about your family, because that is extraordinary. Your roots are in Mexico, as we know, but you were born here in LA, in San Gabriel Valley, one of 5 kids, very close to your grandmother.
One of six kids.
Yes, I'm saying you have 5 siblings.
Okay.
That's what I meant. Leave me alone, okay? I'm under a lot of stress here.
You know what? I'm only drinking for this. I rarely drink, but that's why it's so small.
Okay, I buy that. So, and you come from a very close-knit family, for sure. But you were particularly close with your grandmother, who gave you a paint set when you were like 7 or 8 years old, and you remember that vividly. And how, tell us what, when you looked at it, you knew what it was, I'm sure, because you grew up with art around your house,
Yes.
family art.
So I think I always had a yearning to create art. And Mage, my grandmother, was visiting. They would come often to visit, either from Mexico or from Texas, when they lived in Texas. And we went to Save-Ons on Atlantic Square. It used to be Save-Ons, now it's CVS, but we went to Save-Ons and they had an oil paint set. And so she bought me an oil paint set, and out of the 6 siblings, I don't know why she chose me, probably because I looked strange even as a child, I don't know. But she bought me the oil paint set, and we went home, and on a little wood panel, we painted these 2 señoras with baskets on their head, walking up a road. And the smell of the oil and that experience with her, it was so beautiful. And her and I became very close and very dear to each other. And she saw a couple of my studios, and I was holding her hand the day she passed away. It was a blue moon. And I remember when she passed away, I was right next to her, and I said, please, if you could leave me any ounce of your talent, because she was a master pianist. I have a piano, and a master artist. And I did feel some energy as she passed. And so it was always a beautiful relationship. So it was an honor to have that exhibition at the Vincent Price Museum. So that's
We have a photo of you with your grandmother, Mage Lopez Ibarra. We have a photo here.
That's with my mom.
Oh, that's your mom? Wait a minute. What happened to the grandma?
You have one picture of her
No,
by herself.
we have it here. We have it here. There she is. There she is.
That's the beauty. Yeah, she was such a beautiful woman. Look at those
Beautiful.
intense
Is that from
eyes.
your mom's side or your dad's side? Which
My
side?
mom's side. From my
Uh-huh.
mom's side. They were
Okay.
Lopez. They were
Uh-huh.
Lopez. And yeah, she always had those intense eyes. And come to think of it, my mother had those very intense eyes as well.
I love those when the photos are like daguerreotypes and then they just color in things. I just love that so much. Your family, artists in your family literally date back to like 1877 to your great-grandfather, who created pencil on paper drawings. And we have a portrait that he did, that your grandfather, look at that. That's beautiful.
Yes. Juan Nepomuceno Lopez, and 1877. The drawing is still intact. The paper is still intact. And
Now, how did that get saved through all the years? Who, because things get lost, they get thrown. Somebody was caring for these pieces through the generations.
Mage, my grandmother, she took care of it. And so when my grandmother's sister passed away, my mom went to Texas and brought her back, brought her piano, brought all the artwork. She brought it.
Thank goodness. And now you have it all.
I have the piano, and I have some of my grandmother's work, and my siblings have my great-grandfather's work. So it's in the family, yes.
That's wonderful. Now, a few years ago at VPAM, the Vincent Price Art Museum, full disclosure, I'm a very proud member of the Vincent Price Foundation, Vincent Price Art Museum Foundation Board, but they did a wonderful exhibition. I guess was it Pilar at the time? Who was it? Pilar?
Yes, Pilar Thompson Rivas, yes.
Who we love. And there was an exhibition of 150 years, 5 generations of art of your family. And I know we have an image of that. And that's on the East LA College campus, I should add. It was called Sueño de Familia, Dream of Family. Now tell us these three ladies.
So the piece on the far left is a drawing from Juana Comisano Lopez. The centerpiece is my grandmother's painting, and I think that is of my cousin Artia Marta. And the one on the right is my portrait that I created. It's called Sueño de Alicia, of my sister Alice. So those are three portraits that through the generations that we each have created. That's a beautiful picture, by the way. Thank you.
It's gorgeous. The three of them together is absolutely gorgeous. Wow. Now we can show the picture of the mom. I'm sorry, Abelardo, I called that out wrong. We do have a photo of you and your mom who passed not long after that exhibition. So I'm sure you're particularly happy that that exhibition happened.
You know, Dan, yes, we actually were thinking of having that exhibition in April of 2020. And Pilar, we had this discussion and she says, well, we can have it in November of 2019. It was 6 months we had to put it together. And I said, yeah, let's do it in November. Let's get this, you know, she was going to be turning 89. She was 88. And so this is actually, I wanted to show you, this is the book that is at the Vincent Price Museum. That's my mom.
Oh,
and,
wow.
And this is actually my mom when she was young.
Oh,
What a beauty.
wow.
My little sweetie pie, my little Chuli. So this is the book that has all the generations, and it's a beautiful, beautiful catalog. So we put together the drawings of my great-grandfather, the paintings of my grandmother, my work, my paintings, my mother's ceramics, and my niece, Lauren Stasia Gonzalez, her paintings. She does some beautiful works of art as well. And so my mom went to the opening, and we had two, my great-grandfather and my grandmother were on the other dimension, and three of us on this side, my niece, myself, and my mother. And my mother was so excited at the opening, and that actually was the last outing she had before she passed away. She passed away in January of 2020. And so now she's on the other side with the ancestors, and I'm sure she's just having a blast with them. And but my mother was a very amazing woman, very strong, very intelligent, very well read, and she had the name of Yolanda. So her and I were very close. I absolutely adore my mother. I still to this day do. She is part of my soul, and I think when she passed away, she took a little piece with her of me, because the day doesn't go by that I don't think about my little Chulis, my little pajarito. I love her dearly. Yeah.
And I'm sure you talk to her, right?
I do talk to her, but you know, I think, you know, I do, but I do, you know, I mean, it's when people pass and are no longer with you in that form where you could hug them or kiss them, or, you know, their scent or their little, the way they look at you. My mom, the way she used to look at me, you know, with those little eyes. There's a very deep void, you know, but it also does remind us, Dan, that life is precious, and that people around us, and to live in the now, it's all very precious. And after the passing of my mother, the pandemic, some surgeries I had during the pandemic, I'm a changed person. I have definitely evolved into another woman, and I like her. She's okay, but it has been, you know, very trying and very difficult to live without my mom. Yeah.
But you know, when I find this, and I think most do, sometimes I look in the mirror and I see my mother. And then sometimes I look and I see my father. You know, they're still there. They don't want you to forget them. Yeah, I'm going, where the hell am I? I'm seeing my dad. I'm seeing my mom. Where am I? You know? So,
I see my dad more because my
oh,
dad used to make little faces, and sometimes I'm looking and I'm like, I look at my, oh Jesus. And of course I have his, I have his eyebrow. When we would get in trouble, it was always the eyebrow. So
oh yeah. The eyebrow speaks volumes, right? That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I think we have a little bit of time. If can we get back to that Japan photo? Abelardo, he's going to yell at me when this is over. I completely confused the poor man. There you go. I wanted to talk about that because there are black and white pieces in the MOLA exhibition from your decades ago, from your time after being in Japan. So, and you were experimenting, as I understand, what would happen with Chicano art if you took away the color, but the story was greater than that because of a very close friend who passed, and it was kind of an homage there. Tell us about those black and white. I'm sure as people are going through your exhibition, they suddenly see the black and white figures. It's a very interesting story.
yes, Dan, I actually was working. I had returned from an exhibition in St. Petersburg, Russia, and I was working at Sapphire Graphics in the print studio and experimenting with a technique called carborundum, which is a lovely technique, which is a technique I still use even on my ceramics. But Marietta Bernstark, who is a curator, she's now in Oaxaca, she said, Yoli, do you have any wood blocks? There's a artist in residency in Japan. And I said, of course. I created some wood blocks for her. And the president of the Japan Foundation loved the work, and they sent me to Japan. And so I was there 5.5 months creating artwork with the woman in the picture, Magda de Jose, who is now creating. She has a wonderful sculpture space, New York City, a ceramic studio in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually came from my MOLA exhibition, which was really beautiful just seeing her. And so, I created this what we call the Monster series in Japan, and I wanted to put a face on the monsters in our psyche, and then therefore seeing the beauty of the grotesqueness of these pieces. Because what is beauty? Beauty is what society tells us beauty is, but for me, there are so many other things that are beautiful. So when I was in Japan, there was a dear friend of mine, Sala Kaufman, who was a writer, a wonderful writer, and she was very ill. So when I got back from Japan, she passed away. God rest her soul. And so in homage for her, I wanted to take away my color, and I said, what happens? Because in a sense, she was the color in our life that was no longer present in that dimension.
Correct.
And so I said, what happens to Chicana when you take away the color? Because color is such a prominent part of Chicanism. It's so much strength and so much beauty. And so I started to create those pieces. And so when I was in Japan, they gave me the advice to put the Japanese prints away till I was a more mature artist. And as I said, you're very young right now, and those pieces may not be understood. And so 30 years later is the first time that they're being shown. So in the whole series and the black and whites as well.
I wanted to get that story in. I'm going to wrap with, we're going to go to Q&A, but before I do, I read somewhere where you look at all your artwork and your pieces as your children. So that being said, in seeing your exhibition in Long Beach, are you happy with how the kids grew up?
I'm very happy with how my kids grew up. Yes, I'm very happy with how they grew up. I always wanted children. I never had children, and you know, there's one quick story that when I was creating the sculptures, the head of the sculptures is this sphere, and you know, it's about this big, and I'm holding it and I'm carving it, I'm moving it, and I'm shaping it. But at one point, I was listening to music and I was holding it, and I just stopped for a minute and I kept holding it, and I thought, this is what it must feel like to be pregnant. This is what the body must feel like, you know, to have a child inside of it. And I think that at that point was the closest thing that I ever had in my life to having a child, you know. And so for me, those are my children, and I love them very much. So when I go to the museum, I ask the security, how are they behaving? Are they behaving? Because I know that when the doors are closed down,
Oh,
they
all
come
run
off
around.
the canvas and they party and they dance and they hang out. They're like, oh my God, we're on exhibition for so long. We're
And
so
they're
tired.
probably dissing you like, boy, she's so strict. Why can't I stay out late? Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, this is the perfect note to end on. I love that. That whole segment was beautiful. Thank you so much. Hey, Abelardo,
Hello there.
how are you? How are you? Number 7, number 4, number 3, and we're among friends. There you go. Good boy.
All right. Well, we do have a couple questions here and some comments. We have from Maddie Julian. She's asking,
Mady Julian, my friend Mady.
Maddie Julian asking, do you paint, Yolanda, do you paint at home or do you have a separate studio?
Well, I'm actually in my studio right now, and maybe I could turn my little camera on and get a little look-see.
That
of the other
studio
side.
is tremendous and it's huge. It's
Oh, yeah.
fabulous. Oh,
So
it's
this is my studio.
Oh, it's fantastic. And then there's one room with all your ceramics and oh man,
Yes.
that's fantastic.
Yes.
Good question, Nate.
Okay,
Good
so
question.
let me answer the question. So I'm sorry. So I have the studio here, and I have a painting studio and a ceramic studio, and then I also have a studio in my home. I do, because it does get rather cold here in the winter, and I find it more comfortable because of the warmth in my home. So I have the 2 studios.
And I wonder, I would imagine at some point inspiration hits you and then you could paint it right there and not wait till you go to the studio the next day.
In my pajamas.
I love it.
And that,
I love it.
the second
In my
question,
plaplas. In my plaplas. You know what plaplas are? My sisters are watching and they know what plaplas are. So plaplas are I think they in Spanish are called mamilucos. So they're those footed pajamas.
Oh.
We used to call them plaplas because when you walk, they go. Just a little Gonzalez humor.
I know what you're talking about. I never heard him call that. I'm sure you would. Oh yeah, have some more. Have some more. Next time, use a bigger glass. Abelardo, anything else?
well, the second question was from Alejandra Hernandez. When did Yolanda have her first experience working with clay?
Alejandra is an amazing ceramicist, and I'm going to show you something right now. So I had my first experience I taught at Inner City Arts, and they had a ceramic class, and Robert Miller, who's actually the professor at Rio Hondo and who's magnificent and helps me with firings and so I'm sorry, it was about 35 years ago, and I started making these small ceramic pieces, and then when you see at the museum, they've exploded into 7-foot sculptures. But I wanted to show you a couple of things really quickly. So this is a piece, and I wanted to share this.
Oh yes, I saw.
This is a tequila bottle that this is the prototype, and you will see that it says Gerardo Sousa and Yolanda Gonzalez. So it's a collaboration that I'm creating with Sousa Tequila. Look at this little, isn't that, I love this. So this will be coming, I think, out in July, but I wanted to show you guys something. Let me see if I can get it here. Give me 1 second.
Abelardo, I've never seen your eyes light up so like that. Wow. I see you're planning your Christmas present from your wife, right?
Two works of art, Salsa Tequila and Yolanda Ceramics. I mean, what a combo.
It's really good tequila too. So, and this I created. Alejandra has a class at Rudy's over there in Rudy's in Monterey Park, and so this is a copalero to put your copal in. But look at, I did this in her class.
Oh, I
Isn't this
love that.
beautiful? Look at that. And then you have your little. So she gives these classes once a month. So gracias, Alejandra. I'm so excited because the next class is going to be creating something wonderful in clay, and she's just
That's beautiful. I love that.
a wonderful teacher. I'll put it on my Instagram so that you can see.
Good, good.
Right from Monica Lozano.
Oh,
Monica!
Monica, I love that woman. I love that woman.
Yolanda, you mentioned music. What do you listen to when creating your art?
Oh, that's a great question. There's actually a drawing cabaret couture, and they're a life drawing site, and they're on Instagram. And I met them during the pandemic, and they're in England. And so I'm on their Patreon, and what they'll do is they will send me some of the music that they put during their drawing sessions. And since it's from England, it's very obscure. And so I listen to that, which is a little bit intense. So if I want to paint intensely, I listen to intense music and sometimes classical. And then sometimes I listen to 80s, and then sometimes I listen to jazz. Hola, Monica.
From Rio Diaz, Yolanda is the most prolific Chicana artist. What work has been something you've longed for?
I'm sorry, I was giggling. What was that last question? I'm so sorry. I never dream. My sisters are going, oh my God, because I rarely, okay, I'll behave.
Here goes. What work has been something you've longed for? What artwork?
In my, like for a collection, to have in my collection?
That's what I'm assuming, yes.
Okay, a Van Gogh. I love Van Gogh. I love Van Gogh's work. I'm very honored to have Patsy Valdez, works of art by Gronk, to have works of art by Leo Limon, by Arturo Durista, by Eloy Torres, Ruri Calderon. Anyway, so all of them, I love their work, but Van Gogh is my absolute favorite artist.
Mine too. Mine too. Have you been to the Van Gogh Museum in where the hell was it? Amsterdam? Where's the museum? He's my favorite.
Look, we'll stop in New York, and then we'll go over to the Van Gogh Museum. See, Vale?
And then we'll meet Juan Escobedo in Oaxaca. So it's a
There you go. And Marietta.
yeah. You want to come? You want to come, Abelardo?
Sure. Let me talk to Linda.
You and Linda, and I love Abelardo, and I and Linda have known each other since the parties on Cesar Chavez. And
you never mentioned that when I told you Yolanda was doing the show.
No,
very big collectors and patrons of my work. So gracias, Abelardo and Linda, as well as you, Dan.
you're welcome.
As well as the collectors and the patrons who have supported me throughout the years. You are the reason that I am able to continue to create, and all of you are hanging on the walls of Mola. So gracias.
Well, we have Rio. She clarifies, what work have you longed to make?
Oh, Rio, okay. So I'm very excited about creating works on wood with ceramics included in it. I don't, it's working. And you know what else has been popping up lately? Yarn. And so I want to sew some, I don't even know, but yarn's been calling to me. So I think anything that is new, that's kind of the mediums that are that are calling to me. And can I say something really quickly about Rio?
Yes.
So Rio is a wonderful curator and actually curated the exhibition right now of Judy Baca at Jeffrey Deitch Museum. So Rio's wonderful. Also on July 16th at MOLA, we're having a panel discussion, which Rio is going to be the moderator, and we're going to be joined by Giselle Fernandez, a journalist, Joan Quinn, Diana Santiano, and Marisa Gomez, the models. It's going to be it.
Joan Quinn and Giselle on the same panel. I'm there. I'm there.
July 16th at 2 o'clock at MOLA.
I'm gonna go.
Right, and Joan Agajanian Quinn says, I'm honored to know both Dan and Yoli and to have interviewed both of them.
That's right.
Joan Quinn. Oh, I love Joan Quinn. Joan Quinn started collecting my work. My God, I was like 27, and she was lovely. She came over to my studio on Cesar Chavez at one of the parties, and she was hanging out with us, and she's absolutely lovely.
She's an original. She's an original, Joan.
She's
very
yeah.
important.
Joan Quinn is an icon and a queen. Queen Joan.
I agree.
She writes that Yoli has also painted my portrait, which is in the exhibit. What an honor. Yes, I was delighted to loan it.
Well,
Joan.
can we scoot that one in? Can we scoot mine in? I wouldn't mind. No, I'm saying at MOLA, not there, at MOLA. It's just a little corner.
I'll go before the panel on the 16th, and I'll take my screwdriver. I'll put a little screw, and I'll just hang it. And then, just like I'm going to take a Sharpie and change the date, the year I was born.
And finally, we have Deborah J.T. Padilla. Also,
Deborah!
I'm proud to have 6 Yolanda Gonzalez's work in my collection, she says. And I love you, Yoli and Dan.
Deborah's another icon in our community, Deborah Padilla, for sure.
I love Deborah. I just saw her she invited me to an event on, I think it was Tuesday. And it's just always so lovely to see her. And she had this little jacket with all these little, just beautiful. I kept looking at the texture of her jacket. Love you, Deborah.
And she loves the disco Spotify playlist that you shared with her.
Oh. I'm gonna have to pass that around so everybody can have this. It's 10 hours of disco.
Yes, all right.
God, we used to do that at Studio 54, so that's nothing new.
Oh, really, Dan?
So I think that's it. This has been I love this, but right? This was fun.
So my sisters, I think my sisters are out there. Are any of my sisters out there?
Let me
I know
see.
they're
Let me
out there.
look at the who joined us today. We have their names, I think.
It's Lupe, Patty, Martha, Alice. Those are my
Lupe,
sisters.
of course. Hello, Lupe. Marta Gonzalez is with us. Alice Gonzalez, Jorge Prieto, Patricia Gonzalez, Jessica Medrano, Joe Gomez, Jose Lozano, Naomi Carrizales, and Victoria Delgadillo.
Wow.
Madre, artist. Everybody gets.
And that's just on Zoom. We also have some Facebooks, but I can't see their names.
Oh.
Yeah, I have you on my Facebook Live as well.
All right.
Gentlemen, it's been absolutely lovely. Thank you.
It's been an honor. It's been fun, but I told you it was informal and fun. It certainly was both those tonight, but informative. You're a very special soul, as you know. So we thank you for sharing it with us this evening and always in your work. So we love you, and I will see you, if not before. No, I am seeing you before, but I will. Right, but I will see you at MOLA on the 16th of July. That sounds fantastic. That'll be wonderful.
Again, thank you for doing this. I think it's such a beautiful way to connect everybody. So thank you for what you do, for your energy and who you are. And it was an absolute pleasure painting your portrait. It was great. So thank you for being a beautiful soul. And
Thank you, my friend.
¿Sabes qué? Que viva la raza.
Que viva la raza con color y amor y sudor.
Y pasión. Don't forget
Pasión.
pasión, Dan.
No, that should be number one, right? It all comes from the passion for whatever it is you do, especially as an artist, right? Abelardo, bye, my friends. Say hi to Linda. Thank you all for zooming in. I had a good time, and I think we all did. Bye, mija.
Yes, we did.
Bye.
Bye-bye,
Thank
Yolanda.
you.
Bye-bye, Dan. Gloria Alvarez, love Yolanda's art. Was so proud to exhibit some of her artwork in our store on Olvera Street.
Ah,
Oh, Gloria, gracias.
And with that, we're gonna bid everybody buenas noches. Thank you for joining in Casa con la Plaza Dan Guerrero Happy Hour on this wonderful Thursday evening. Thanks again to our sponsors, Union Pacific Foundation and Kaiser Permanente. If you want to watch this one more time, or if you didn't catch the entire episode, we'll be posting it on our YouTube page at La Plaza LA. It also will continue to live on our Facebook page at La Plaza LA. You could catch all of Dan's Dan Guerrero's happy hours on our YouTube page. I think we're almost hitting 100, Dan. What's up with that?
wow. And I'm almost 100. So it all works out perfectly fine. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Be kind to each other. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye,
All right.
mija.
Bye-bye, everybody. Buenas noches. Hasta la próxima.